Hey friends, before we jump into today's conversation, I just wanted to give a quick life update. We all just got back from Traverse City, Michigan, which was only my second time in the state of Michigan. And I think this brings my grand total of trips to Michigan to 2. We got to celebrate my brother-in-law's beautiful wedding. So shout out to Kyle and Caitlin Brown. So pumped. For those of you that have heard Eric and I here on the podcast, Eric is my husband. He's on the show with me a lot in the Marriage Corner, which we do often at the end of episodes. And Eric is a triplet. This was his triplet brother, Kyle, that got married. If you've been following our journey for a while, or you tuned into Kurt Brown, Eric's dad's episode last season, where we talked a lot about losing Eric's mom and Kyle's mom, Janelle's mom, to dementia and Alzheimer's. You also may, which I'll link back to that episode in the show notes, you may also know that Kyle lost his wife, Erin, about 3 years ago to cancer. Our family has definitely had quite the journey the past few years, but the Lord has been so faithful, and it was so incredible just to celebrate taking a covenant before God, and even amidst the sorrow, just getting to have this great joy. It was really interesting to describe exactly what a wedding is to a 6 and 9-year-old. Leighton and Finn got to hear us break that down about taking a covenant before the Lord and how that means committing to be a family, and such a joy to get to have the boys there with us to get to witness it all. We did cherry picking in Traverse City. We went to one of their cideries. We, of course, did the rehearsal dinner, ate good food. I mean, had the best time, but then also that meant some 3:30 a.m. wake up calls, some early morning flights, lots of things. You know how it goes. I definitely came home yesterday afternoon feeling a little bit of the post-travel sluggishness, the breakouts, the bloating that sometimes hits after a long weekend of celebration. And so I thought I would kind of just give everybody a little bit of encouragement about what it looks like to jump back in even midweek, and that your Sunday reset that we talk about here all the time doesn't actually have to be on a Sunday. So I did my reset today on a Wednesday. This episode will come out next week, I believe it is. Instead of just writing off the rest of this week and being like, oh, I'll hit the reset button next Sunday or next Monday, I really wanted to give myself permission to hit restart on this Wednesday to finish out the week strong, to get my body feeling better, more regular, if you know what I'm saying, all the things. I definitely leaned very heavily into that Sunday reset routine and activated a holistic post-travel detox plan. I'll share a little bit about that with you before we jump into the podcast episode, but I thought this was a good little pro tip that I had not thought to do before, but I actually went to ChatGPT and said, this is how I'm feeling. I'm having breakouts. I want to know the best way to accelerate my recovery after drinking alcohol, eating inevitably seed oil, sugars, things that I don't normally eat a lot of after eating out more, traveling in the airport, all the things. What would be the best holistic post-travel detox plan according to a naturopath? Well, I loved getting to see what it set out for me. I incorporated some of my Sunday reset with what it said. So I'll give you a little sneak peek inside, and hopefully it'll help out some of you guys as you're traveling a lot this summer too. So that looked like hydrating first thing this morning with some warm lemon water, having my fit and hydrated to get my hydration back on point, my custom mineral blend that I'll share with you guys in this upcoming podcast season in the fall. You'll hear more about that. I did some gentle movement, including a morning walk where I also put on my red light mask. Then as I was walking, I've talked with you guys some about, I like to do either a worship walk, I walk in silence, or get caught up in the word. Today, I pulled up on a podcast our church's sermon from Sunday and listened to that while I was walking. I did my red light. I actually talked all about the red light benefits in episode number 116, which is the last episode if you want to go back and listen to it, with Neon. That really helped me reset. Also is good for your skin. Got back into meal planning. I'm going to hit the gym this afternoon and really getting back to that whole health, mind, body, and spirit rhythm that I typically live by. Ate whole foods, making sure that I got my supplements and peptides in. If you're curious about my peptides, the lean, the fit, the hydrated, I'll link those down in the show notes. They actually have a sale going on at Make Wellness right now through the end of the month. So don't miss out on that. You can click my link down in the show notes and use the discount code SUMMER25 to get $25 off, plus tons of benefits when you put it on auto subscribe. So I hope that this is helpful for you guys to hear as you are traveling, going, being, doing all the things for your family this summer. Like I said, I kept things really simple. I added in a supplement I take called True Niagen, some omega-3s, and some of my go-to inflammation tamers like my Paleo Valley turmeric. Lunch was really simple. Eric and I figured out that the best time for us to have a date day was today because we already had VBS and my babysitter scheduled. So I got that quality intentional time in with him to just reconnect after our travels, to discuss the wedding, all the things, which was so great. We went out to a restaurant, but I stuck with water with lemon for my drink. And then I did a watermelon tomato salad and then got some chicken on the side for my protein. I'm going to do a mid-afternoon herbal tea to continue to help me detox. I've been taking the ENERGYbits that you'll hear me talk about here in a little bit with Dr. Catharine in this upcoming interview. Dinner is going to be light and liver loving with some tuna and some kind of cruciferous veggie. I'll end my day like I always do with a magnesium, a probiotic. I think it's so cool and such a good intentional thing to ask the Lord into your reset, to help your body recover, to help your mind, your spirit reset with Him. Definitely slept in a little bit this morning because I was short on sleep. I napped yesterday afternoon because my body was just tired. So anyway, that's a little bit about what my Sunday reset on a Wednesday has looked like this week. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be what meets you and your needs that week. So I always want to encourage you to be aware of that and know that that Sunday reset is always there for you, no matter what day of the week you choose to do it and what your busy life looks like. Sometimes it has to be a mini Sunday reset. Sometimes it can be a full day affair. And I'm really grateful for that opportunity today because it was a little bit more laid back other than just recording this podcast. So I'm so thankful for that. With all that said, you know me, I'm not afraid to go there when it comes to controversial topics. And today's guest definitely brought some differing views to the table. As always, I recommend taking anything I say or you hear someone else say back to the Lord and asking God for discernment. Always let Him be the one to guide your health journey, mind, body, and spirit. Always, always. But with all that said, let's dive in with Catharine Arnston from ENERGYbits. She is a total powerhouse in the wellness world. When Catharine's younger sister was diagnosed with breast cancer, she went on a mission to find the most healing, nutrient-dense foods on the planet. What she discovered would change everything. Algae, believe it or not, superfood backed by 100,000 plus studies from NASA and the UN. She is the founder of ENERGYbits, a PhD in natural health, and the woman on a mission to get women everywhere off the caffeine crash cycle and onto real energy, better sleep, balanced hormones, and slower aging, starting at the cellular level. If you've got mom brain, burnout, or you're just tired of quick fixes, this one's for you. All right, Dr. Catharine. So before we get into the algae, what's one wellness trend you think women should run toward and one that we should run from?
Run towards sleep. Oh my God. It's for me, next to algae, the next to godliness. So run towards sleep, ladies. Never apologize for it. Get as much as you can. Keep it regular. And I would say run away from seed oils.
Oh, yes, that's such a good one. We're definitely gonna get in, we're definitely gonna get into some seed oil chat today, so I'm excited about that. And yes, I definitely echo you on sleep. I think that's amazing. Now I really want to talk a little bit about your backstory and how you discovered algae and chlorella and all the things. So you left corporate after your sister's breast cancer diagnosis. So what did you see in the wellness world that needed disrupting, and how did algae enter that picture?
Well, when I learned that alkaline diets, and which were basically plant-based diets, were so healing because of the phytonutrients and chlorophyll, and then I got some education on being coaching and being a health coach, and then I was teaching plant-based nutrition. The biggest problem I found was that everybody knows they need to eat more plants, but that wasn't. But it was too challenging because it was too much work, or they went bad quickly, or some people had gas, or the kids or their husbands wouldn't eat them, so they were making like 2 meal plans. And so the biggest challenge was getting the the nutrition of vegetables into people in a way that was effortless and effective, because it's not just what you eat, it's what you absorb. So when I discovered algae being the most nutrient dense alkaline food, documented 100,000 studies about all the science benefits, and it was effortless because they come in these tiny little tablets about the size of a baby aspirin. Spirulina is a darker, it's a blue-green algae, chlorella is a green algae. But if you can swallow water, you can get the nourishment you need in seconds. They last 3 years, so it's not like arugula is going to go yellow after 3 days. There's no flavor if you swallow them, zero. So they don't repeat like they would fish oil. And kids love them because they turn their tongues green if they chew them. I do chew them. Some people don't chew them because the spirulina is very very chewy because it has the three times the amount of protein as steak. So to me, because I had all the science, all the nutrients, 40 vitamins and minerals, 64% protein, 3 times the amount of protein as steak, the highest chlorophyll in the world, and it was effortless, never gave you stomach distress, no prep, nothing. You just swallow, if you can swallow water in a second, you can get nourished. And each tablet has so much nutrition. We have a quote from NASA that says 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as an entire as 1,000 grams of vegetables. So each tablet, I did the math, has the same nutrition as about a pound of vegetables. So, which is a huge plate. So while I'm talking to you right now, Heather, I just had a plate of vegetables. How easy is that? So this to me is the answer for being nourished at home, on the road. It gives you, we'll talk about the different algae. One gives you, spirulina gives you energy, which is why we call ours ENERGYbits. And chlorella, which is a wellness detoxing algae, which helps you recover your health, which is why we call ours ENERGYbits. So we'll talk about the difference between the two of them. But now there is zero excuse for not getting nourished properly because it's proven, scientifically proven, absolutely effortless. There's no upper limit. They replace lots of other stuff. And they've been used safely for 65 years in Asia, where it's an agricultural crop. Yes, algae is a food. It is not a supplement. And that's the other big news for me, because your body recognizes food and will absorb it much easier. And spirulina is the most bioavailable food in the world because it's actually a bacteria. So nothing for your body to break down to get access to it. Of course, now I'm going to have a green mouth while I'm talking to you. I just had my equivalent of a plate of vegetables.
I love it. Well, I have been taking them now for probably about I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks at this point, and they are so easy to pop. And I mean, I literally just put them on my tongue, take a sip of water, and it's done, and it's unbelievable. And I actually just got back from traveling, Catherine. We went to Traverse City, Michigan to marry off my brother-in-law. And so that was super exciting. But that was one of the things that I was like, as soon as I get back, I know that I need to start with the detox. And so I've got my bits right here ready to go. But will you explain, maybe go a little bit more into what exactly is spirulina and chlorella? And yes, you said how they're different a little bit, but I mean, most people think algae was just like in fish tanks or in ponds. I know. So tell us the magic.
Yeah. Well, and for good reason, because nobody grows algae here as an agricultural crop like they do in Asia. It's as big as the beef industry is. Wow. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. It's crazy. So the only reason why people know about algae is because it's closing their favorite beach or messing up their aquarium. But I'm here to tell you, it is the most nutrient-dense food in the world, and it is grown as an agricultural crop. Here's pictures of algae farms. This one's a spirulina farm. This one's a chlorella farm. They're slightly different. And we grow ours in Taiwan, which is known for having the highest quality, because growing algae isn't like growing broccoli or carrots. It's more like making wine. And so with wine, it's affected by the angle of the sun. Like if you have a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, it does not taste at all like a Sauvignon Blanc from California or Italy. And part of that is the sun. Same with algae. It's affected by the angle of the sun. And Taiwan is known for having the gold standard for nutritional density. It's also like wine because it's the production processes that determine the quality. So with wine, it's, what kind of wood you use for your barrels and how long does it stay in the barrels. With algae, it's, did you use high heat to dry it? Because most of the cheaper lower priced algae that's grown in China and India. They cut corners because they're lower priced, so they need to get to market quickly. So one of the corners they cut is they use high heat to dry it, which makes sense. The problem is, and you'll find out about this in a minute, high heat over 114 degrees Fahrenheit deactivates enzymes. And there's some critical enzymes and pigments in both the spirulina and chlorella that have healing properties that you definitely want, like protecting you from heart disease, protecting you from Alzheimer's, protecting you from cancer. I'd say we want those active. So what makes us different is we've never used high heat. So all of these nutrients are preserved in our algae, which is why ours works so well. So number one, algae is a food. Which will surprise people because they think of it as a real nuisance. And so what we do is we grow it in fresh water, we dry it without high heat into a powder, and then we just press them in these tiny little tablets that we affectionately call bits because they're bits of food. Nothing else in there. And as I mentioned, each tablet is so nutrient dense. One tablet has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables, but without any of the work, not having to drag it home from the store, not having to throw it out, nobody ate it, not having to argue with your husbands or your kids. Your pets will love it too, by the way. So it's very, very efficient nutrition. So
now, will you tell us also a little bit about your sister and her cancer journey? Like, obviously you didn't have this product then. So how did she supplement? Did she see a difference with it? Tell us more there.
Yeah, well, it did start my journey, and I didn't really zone in on algae until about a year later when I started to do other stuff. So it was in Canada, by the way, because I'm Canadian and she was living in Canada. So I'm not sure whether it would have happened here, but her oncologist was A, Canadian, and B, a woman. And women just tend to be more open to nutritional issues. And so we're so lucky that she told my sister to change her diet to an alkaline diet because she was going to go through this chemotherapy. And as you know, chemotherapy is really rough on your immune system. So I have to believe that she wanted her to have a strong immune system. And also I found out in the research that turns out there was a German scientist by the name of Otto Warburg back in the 30s who won a Nobel Prize for discovering that cancer cannot grow into cells if the cells are alkaline. So this was another way for I assume her oncologist wanted her to prevent getting more cancer cells growing. So I just went to town. I went on Google and just Googled alkaline diet, found out it was mostly a plant-based diet. You can Google alkaline diets and there will be charts that you can find that list every single food category and individual foods, fruits, and like some fruits are alkaline, some are acidic, like lemons and limes are alkaline, but bananas are acidic, but meat is acidic, dairy is acidic. There actually aren't many things that are alkaline. So and algae was one of them. So I just gave her a bunch of things to eat and not eat, and so and she did go through chemo. So she lives in Canada and I live in the United States, so I wasn't there by her side the whole time monitoring what she was eating. But she did change it. And actually, she still maintains a fairly alkaline diet 12 years later because she did completely heal.
Wow.
And we celebrate her being cancer-free every year. So
thank you, Lord. Amen.
Yeah. So algae was just one of many things that she started, she changed her diet too. So I can't claim, and I would never want to misrepresent the outcome. It was one of many things that helped her heal. I'm assuming the chemo had a large part of it, but she was able to sustain a healthy outcome because her oncologist had given her all these tips, including the alkaline diet. So it really wasn't until after she had healed and I had started digging deeper into plant-based nutrition, which led me to algae, which led me to learn so much about it. I've now spent 15 years researching algae nutrition. I probably know more about it than anybody else in the world.
I bet you do.
And I tell people it's actually not algae that's doing all these amazing things for you. It's the nutrients found in algae. And some of these nutrients aren't found in any other food, like the blue pigment in spirulina, which is called phycocyanin. It's spelled Phycocyanin. Doesn't exist anywhere else in the universe. And it's proven to kill cancer cells. I would say that's pretty important.
Very.
In fact, therapy companies use it in their treatments now. So you can Google cancer treatments and phycocyanin, and you'll find the same research that I had found. I was just looking for something that I wanted to show you. So,
Yeah. Well, Dr.
so
Catherine, while you're looking for that, I want to also say that if you're listening to this episode and if you or someone you love has cancer, because I know cancer rates are skyrocketing recently, I actually am interviewing John from World Without Cancer in this upcoming podcast season. And so you guys will definitely have to come back and listen to that because some of the stats that he shares around cancer and some of the natural ways that we can help is I had never heard it before. So I think this is incredibly
yeah,
encouraging, Dr. Catherine.
yeah. Yeah. So back to algae, it's a food category, and just like other food categories, there are subcategories. Like you have fruits, but then you also have bananas, and you have oranges and apples, and there's different types of all that. So within algae, you have two main categories. One is called macroalgae, the other one is called microalgae. We're talking mostly about only about microalgae, but let me tell you what macroalgae is. It's that stringy stuff that washes up on shore, also known as seaweed. Now, seaweed is still good for you because it's high in fiber, but it's only in the sea. It also has a high iodine because it's from the sea, but it has virtually zero nutrition. So high fiber, zero nutrition. Microalgae, which is what we're talking about, is completely different. First of all, it's everywhere, and it either has zero fiber or virtually no fiber. Spirulina has zero fiber because it's a bacteria. Chlorella does have fiber, does belong to the plant kingdom. But more importantly, it is the most nutrient dense food in the universe. And this is a quote from NASA, a quote from the United Nations, who says it's the answer to world hunger because it's 3 times the amount of protein as steak. And not only is it high protein, all the proteins in amino acid form, so it's easy for your body to absorb it. So you have this micro algae. Microalgae, it's called microalgae because it's microscopic in size. You can't see it with your eye. You can get like 1 million of these on the head of a pin. That's how tiny they are. So that's
Mm.
why when you press them into these little tablets about the size of a baby aspirin, you can start to see why or how so much nutrition can be in something so small. So within
Incredible.
microalgae, then you have other subcategories because within apples, you might have Fuji apples and Macintosh apples and green apples. So within microalgae, you have the two main ones are blue-green and green algae. Blue-green algae is called blue-green because it has two pigments in it. A green one, which everyone knows, called chlorophyll, and the other one that probably nobody has ever heard of before, which is that one called phycocyanin, and that's the one that kills cancer cells. It also acts as an antioxidant. So blue-green algae, and one blue-green algae is spirulina. There's
Mm.
tens of other strains. So when you read about a blue-green algae closing your favorite beach, we're not talking about spirulina. That's another bad boy part of the family who, but by the way, poor algae gets the bum rap because it only shows up when there's toxins and bacteria in the water. Algae
Mm.
is the cleanup crew. It absorbs the toxins and it kills bacteria. That's what it does. It's Mother Nature's cleanup crew, and it does the same thing in your body. So
Wow.
the of blue-green algae we're talking about and that we sell, and whether you get it from Trader Joe's or Target or Whole Foods, is spirulina. It happens to be the one that caught on about 60 years ago, and it's the blue-green algae that is sold pretty much everywhere, including by us. So that's spirulina, blue-green algae. Now, a green algae, same thing. There's tens of thousands of strains, but the one that's caught on the most is chlorella. More people don't know about chlorella, but we're going to talk about what's different about each one of them and when to take them and why to take them, because you really do need both. And it's, as I mentioned earlier, wellness algae. So that's algae as a category. By the way, I'd like to point out that algae, especially spirulina, which is that bacteria, it's called a cyanobacteria, was, are you ready? Drum roll, the first life on Earth. Not just the first plant, the first flat out life. Before spirulina, a cyanobacteria, Earth was gas and water. No oxygen, no life. Nobody knows why it started growing. It was just a single cell organism, but it did. And after 1 billion years, there was enough oxygen on Earth so other forms of life could grow. And in fact, I'll tell you, because we're going to talk a little bit about mitochondria and what they are and why they're so important. Evolutionary is proven that the cyanobacteria, like spirulina, became our mitochondria. So when you take algae, you are literally giving your mitochondria back their family. This is why all the nutrients in algae can get into the mitochondria because they came from the same place evolutionarily. It's crazy. You couldn't make this stuff up if you tried. And I'll dig into that a little bit deeper. But that's algae as a food category. Macro, micro. Within micro, you have multiple strains, blue, green, and green. And then you have spirulina as a blue-green algae and chlorella as the most popular green algae.
Wow. Well, I think that you've probably given so much information. Everybody's really, taking it in, trying to understand, breaking it down. So if we talk really basic, real life, the moms that are listening to this podcast, we talked briefly in the intro about how we're exposed to EMFs, seed oils, and hormone disruptors daily. So can you tell us why chlorella is such a powerful detoxifier for women, and anything else that you recommend for detoxing from all these things and how to avoid them?
Yes. And I definitely want to talk about spirulina too, because that explains why everyone's getting sick. So whether whatever age you're at, but particularly over 40, particularly women, and I'll explain why, we are getting hit with so many illnesses and brain fog and autoimmune and weight gain, and it's just cancer, and it's just like off the charts. And I attribute it to two main well, there's really three. The first two are our food just doesn't look or feel or deliver nutrients like it did 50 years ago. Our soils are overcropped. Even if you are eating vegetables, you're just getting fiber and calories, not nutrition. So, and just like your car, if you don't put gas in your car, it's not going to work. If you don't charge your cell phone, it's not going to work. If your body isn't getting the nutrients it needs to function, it can't work optimally. This is for every age group, but particularly women over the age of 40. And our children are suffering because they're eating processed foods, which make it even worse because they have all these other pesticides and toxins and seed oils. But so number one, not getting the nutrition that you need. Number two, this toxicity issue. They found out the average adult now has 700 toxins in their body. Our immune systems simply weren't built to sustain that kind of toxic load. Now, when you have toxins in your body, nothing is working. It's like in the old days, I'm a baby boomer. So in the days when we used to have car radios and you were stuck in between stations and all you would hear would, you weren't right on the station, static. All those toxins are causing static in our bodies. There's the communication between the cells aren't working. The toxins sit on your cell, what's called their cell receptors. So even if you give it good nutrition, it can't get in because it's like someone stole your parking spot. You can't park if someone's in your parking spot, and you can't get the nutrition in if the toxins are taking the spot where the receptor cell is. So that's the second reason. The third reason, which is more evolutionary, and I do want to get into this, and this is particularly for women or anyone over the age of 40. Just evolutionarily, we've been on Earth 2 million years, and for the up until about 150 years ago, we died at 30. It's just the way it is. Biologically, for 2 million years, we died at 30. So our bodies, after the age of 30, start preparing us for death. This is why your estrogen levels start dropping, because your body goes, well, you're after 30. I guess there won't be any more babies, so we're going to start pulling that estrogen out. It's your melatonin starts dropping, which is because, well, you're not going to need any sleep because you're not going to be around. And of course, sleep is when you repair. And one of the other things that decrease, among other issues, is a very critical antioxidant you've probably never heard of before, called superoxide dismutase, also known as SOD. And what it does is it protects your mitochondria from free radical damage. And so you have all this protection until the age of 30, and it slows down. You still have a little bit by 40. By 40, you have none of this. And so it's like being caught in a rainstorm, because free radicals are absolutely a natural byproduct of the production of cellular energy. It's called ATP. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just the way it is. But just like a big golf umbrella would protect you from a big rainstorm, when you pop open that golf umbrella, you don't stop the rain, but you stop getting wet. Same in your body. The superoxide dismutase that you have from the moment you're born until the age of 30/40, it doesn't stop the free radicals, but it turns them into harmless water and oxygen, so they don't damage the mitochondria, because the mitochondria determine everything about your health. They determine all your cellular energy, which is more energy than just running to the store or having a great workout. It's for your neurotransmitters to work. It's for your skin to recycle. It's for your heart to beat, your digestion, your elimination. Everything requires cellular energy. So if these little mitochondria keep getting killed and you have fewer of them, you have less energy. It's like someone slowly turning the lights all off in your building. Once all those lights are off in a building, it's dark and you
Mm.
can't do anything. The same thing is going on in your body. Your mitochondria after the age of 40 are being killed and your lights are going off. This is why you have brain fog. This is why you have weight gain. This is why you have Alzheimer's, cancer, heart disease, because there are 25,000 studies proving this stuff called SOD reduces inflammation, prevents heart disease, prevents all dementia. Proven. Nobody
Wow. Wow.
knows
Wow.
that you can
Wow.
get it in spirulina algae. So this is why I get so excited. So the three reasons why people are getting sick, particularly if you're a woman over the age of 40, improper nutrition, too many toxins, and you don't have this protective antioxidant any longer that your body used to make, but stops making it after 40. And the reason why women get hit harder than men, because this diminished superoxide dismutase hits men too, but women get hit double hard. Why? Because right when we're losing that big golf umbrella called SOD, our estrogen levels are dropping. And nobody's probably told you, but estrogen acts as a protector for your mitochondria. It's an antioxidant too.
Wow. I didn't
So
know that.
now we've lost that golf umbrella, the second, the second layer of golf umbrella. Now we're absolutely soaked in free radicals, which is causing so much more. This is why you have less energy. Of course, me. By the way, ladies, I'm turning 70 next year. That's 70.
And
And I
she
have
looks fabulous. If you're not
I
watching
have
us, you're just
lots of
listening. She looks
energy.
great.
And I got my PhD last year, so my brain's working too. So I want to show you there's a way to bring back those mitochondria, get those lights back on, get your umbrella back in place. And it comes from spirulina. There's a little bit of this stuff in chlorella, but it's mostly in spirulina. But it has to be spirulina that has not been exposed to high heat, because this stuff called SOD is also an enzyme. And all those cheaper algae use high heat, which kills all enzymes, including this one. So I know I got a little off track on the superoxide dismutase, but I do want you to know that this is why these three main reasons we're struggling so much as we get into menopause and perimenopause. Now, on the detox side, chlorella is well known for being a detoxing algae. Now, it's more than cleansing. A detox means a chelator, which means it attaches to the toxins and pulls them out all the way out of your body. Now, you eliminate toxins four ways: one through breath, sweat, urine, and bowel movements. And you're going to find out chlorella helps with all of them. So, how does it work? Well, that hard cell wall of chlorella, as I said, attaches to them. Now, when you do a sauna or you're exercising, you're sweating and you're breathing. Well, maybe not so much breathing in the sauna, but certainly when you're exercising. And so it's as the chlorella is pulling out the toxins, this will help eliminate some of them. Chlorella also stimulates what's called peristalsis, which is a fancy word for saying a bowel movement. So I call that stuff in your bowel the junk in your trunk, because whatever's down there, your body decided it didn't want. It could be pesticides, glyphosate, heavy metals, alcohol, just stuff that shouldn't be circulating. But if you don't have a bowel movement, and most people aren't talking about constipation, but it's a big deal, especially as you get older, and you don't have the enzymes for digestion. A lot of people, if they're eating dairy or carbs, or they're not drinking enough water, or they're not moving enough, or they're stressed on medications. That's like 75% of the population are on medications. You're constipated. I know that. And we can eliminate that problem with a way to help you eliminate with chlorella. So it's really a great detoxing agent. It does it, as I said, through a hard cell wall. It also has the highest amount of something called glutathione, which is another antioxidant. It's considered the master antioxidant because it particularly clears out toxins in your liver. And we want to be sure that liver is working. That's your water treatment plant. Well, that's your kidneys. Sorry, it's the way to keep everything out of your bloodstream so you're not poisoned to death. So we want the liver to be able to work well. And then also chlorella has the highest chlorophyll in the world. That's why it's called chlorella, because of the chlorophyll. And you may say, well, what's so important about chlorophyll? Well, it's virtually identical to the chemical composition of your hemoglobin. I have a picture here. This is the chemical composition of chlorophyll, and on the other side is your hemoglobin. The only difference is your hemoglobin has iron in it, is what carries oxygen. So chlorophyll builds your blood. It always has. But our vegetables don't have any chlorophyll in them anymore. So you're not getting the medicinal amount of chlorophyll that you need to
Mm.
build your blood like you would with chlorophyll. Chlorella has 500 times more chlorophyll than arugula and 25 times more chlorophyll than liquid chlorophyll. So even if you're taking liquid chlorophyll, which is a good thing, and these numbers come from the Linus Pauling Institute, by the way, don't make any of this up. So when you're taking chlorophyll water, that's good, but that's all you're getting is chlorophyll. When you take chlorella, you're getting more chlorophyll plus 60% protein, plus 40 vitamins and minerals, plus all the enzymes, coenzymes, factors, and cofactors. I mean, this is the symphony of nutrition. Chlorophyll or a single supplement is like listening to a soloist. You don't get any of the harmonies or robust benefits like you do when you listen to an orchestra. So think of both the algae as your nutritional orchestra. It will give you things that you didn't even know that you needed, and it does it all automatically because it's food.
Well, and I
So
think, Dr. Catherine, what's really cool is a lot of times people think they have to take these nasty greens, and let's be honest, they don't taste great. This also solves that problem. That's what I love
yeah,
about it is it's like it doesn't even it literally all it's like no taste. You slurp it down and you get all these benefits. It's insane. So good.
yeah. You don't have to eat another vegetable again. Why do people eat vegetables? Because they need the chlorophyll and the phytonutrients and the fiber. What does chlorella have? Chlorophyll, phytonutrients, and fiber. And they also use vegetables to help with bowel movements. What did I just tell you that chlorella does? It stimulates bowel movements. But you get so many other great things because we recommend, by the way, you can take chlorella any time of day, but we definitely want you to take it before bed because, first of all, it has the highest tryptophan in the world, which is a precursor to that thing called melatonin that helps
Mm.
you. So it will help you get into a deep sleep. And then it has other things like something called chlorella growth factor that heals your cells. And then it has this stimulation of bowel movements. But when you're sleeping, that's when your body is pulling out all the toxins in your brain, the metals. So while you're getting your beauty rest and not doing anything, you got the cleanup crew in there. If you have chlorella, getting rid of all the stuff that your body decided it didn't want. And then you get to a nice, gentle bowel movement in the morning. Life is good.
That's
So
right.
please
Well,
take it before bed. Yeah.
that's right.
Talk.
Tell everybody, because I know we're quickly running out of time, for
Yeah.
the mom who wants to feel better and start small, what should she take? How often?
Yes.
How many of these? Give us a little bit of the
Yes.
breakdown.
Yes. Well, before I get done, I'm going to quickly give you a quick summary of spirulina because it's the one I usually direct people to spirulina first.
Okay.
What does it do? It satisfies your hunger. Both of them have 1 calorie per tablet. You could have 30 of these for lunch. You won't be hungry for hours. Highest protein in the world, 40 vitamins and minerals. Your brain will literally turn on in minutes. So whether you have kids with autism or ADHD or you have other brain health issues, this is brain food. Spirulina is brain food. Chlorella is gut food. This is your immune
Wait,
system.
wait, Dr. Catherine. All my mama's ears are going to perk up because ADHD and ADD is now being so very much so diagnosed. Have you had any kids come off of meds using this?
Yes, yes, and we've
No
had
way.
coaches. Yes, and we have coaches at schools who give this spirulina to the students before a game. Their focus is incredible. The
Wow.
engagement is incredible, and it's just food, moms. Remember, this is food, and the kids they'll chew it because they think it's funny because their tongues turn green. There's no drug interactions, zero. There's no fiber, so it never upsets anybody's stomach. We work with NFL players, teams, NHL teams, entire teams,
Dang.
Olympic teams. This is your answer for getting your children the nourishment they need, but also for their brain development and to get their brain back on track, regardless. And you too. So whether your moms are busy, they don't have much time. This gives you energy at the cellular level. It's not a stimulant. There's no caffeine, chemicals, or sugar. So it's like putting a log on the fire. When you have a stimulant, it's like putting paper on a fire. This is very steady energy, 1 calorie, and it's affordable because we have a nice discount code that we're going to share with your listeners, Heather. And so when you take 10, so that we'll get to the quantities now, 10 spirulina in the morning would be enough to meet all of your nutritional needs. If you have a health condition, 30 is really what we recommend. If you want to prevent anything, or you want to, whether it's cancer or heart disease or anything, 30 is really more of the therapeutic amount. You can have more. I have like, between the two of them, I've been having over 100 a day for 14 years. And we have NHL players that will have 75 spirulina before a game because hockey is really fast and they want
Yeah.
focus and action on the ice and strength. So there's no upper limit, it's food, but 10 will get you started and 30 would be a therapeutic amount. Now, with the discount code, when you take 10, it works out to $1 a day. So
Wow.
that's all. And a bag, if you took 10 a day, a bag would last you 3 months. Obviously, you take 30, it will last you a month. But for $1 a day, you can be fully nourished, get all your vitamins and minerals. It will replace a multivitamin, a fish oil. Please stop taking fish oil. It will replace collagen, biotin, CoQ10. So it will save you money and headaches, and it lasts 3 years. You don't have to refrigerate it, nothing. And it
Hold
comes
up,
in,
hold up. Why'd you say quit taking fish oil? I'm like, I've never heard that before. Why no fish oil?
it's mostly rancid by the time you get it or shortly thereafter. So it becomes inflammatory.
Oh,
So
mother of pearl.
it's killing the oceans. And where do you think the fish get the omega-3 from, ladies? From
Mm,
algae in the ocean.
right,
So,
right.
this will never go rancid, ever, ever, ever. Actually, algae never goes bad, period. So save yourself, save your fish, save the oceans. So take this usually in the morning, afternoon, for lunch, before a workout. And it's steady energy. There's no drama with algae. It's just suddenly the way you feel is fresh. That's it. Nothing more than that. Just fresh, mentally fresh, physically fresh. Boom. That's spirulina. Chlorella, which it said you could take any time of day, but definitely before bed. Same thing. You could take 10 tablets a day and you'll get the immune benefits and the cleansing benefits of the chlorophyll. But for detox, to hold on to those heavy metals, lead, mercury, radiation, if you've been taking any kind of vaccines, there's aluminum in there. Be sure you're taking chlorella before your vaccine and after. So we'll get rid of those and you'll likely have less autism effect. But 30 is your detox quantity. By the way, one of the toxins it pulls out is alcohol. Wine, beer, spirits. And as you get older, it's harder to recover from any kind of alcohol. All women have been telling me this. So I like to have a glass of wine every once in a while, but I make sure I have my chlorella afterwards. I take my 30. Now, chlorella actually tastes better than spirulina. It's drier. It's like a soy nut. So I
Mm.
sprinkle it with sunflower seeds, or I sprinkle it with Himalayan salt, and it tastes like a soy nut or a sunflower seed. And it also tastes great with pistachio nuts or macadamia nuts. You can turn this into a nice little snack trail mix, put it on your salad as a garnish. But spirulina, it is an acquired taste. It's very chewy because of the essential fatty acids and the high protein. So think of this as your AM, spirulina is your AM, chlorella is your PM. Another way to remember it is spirulina is brain food. And we know that fatty fish are brain food, and we know that fish eat algae. So if that will help you remember, spirulina, ENERGYbits is brain food, and chlorella, which we call ENERGYbits, is gut food. And of course, the two of them are joined by something called the vagus nerve. So as you improve one, the other one equally improves. So they work really well together. They do different
So
things.
So incredible. Dr. Catherine, I learned so much today, and I'm even now more excited that I'm taking them because now I even know more of the science behind it, which is so cool. Knowing that we only have about a minute left, tell everybody a little bit about my code that they can shop with, tell them where they can connect with you online, where they can learn more, and where they can purchase these energy bits.
Absolutely. Well, come and visit us. Our website is energybits.com, ENERGYbits. And the code is Heather Brown, no surprise. And it's all one word, no space in between. Doesn't matter what uppercase or lowercase. It works on everything. The best value, I will say, is the bag. Has 1,000 tablets. Again, if you took 10, it would last you 3 months, and it only cost you a dollar per serving. But we do have these really fun canisters that come with a bag. And what you do is you open the bag, and then you put the tablets in the canister, and then you shake them out of this little fun little opening. And then when you run out of tablets, you simply buy another canister. We also have single pouches with 30. There you go. And these are great to take to the gym or for lunch, or in your lunch bag. But ENERGYbits.com is where everything happens. By the way, I do want to point out that when I started the company because of my sister, and women's health has always been my priority, and we found that women just didn't like the packaging of the spirulina ENERGYbits. So, and I found out it had more collagen than collagen powder, which of course is good for your skin and hair. So we have a second brand of spirulina, which I call Beauty Bits, but they are absolutely identical, just prettier packaging. So my lady friends would be happy. So I call all my brands my children, and these are my twins because they're basically the same. I'm not trying to trick anybody. I just want people to be happy, especially women, when they're buying and using the product. So that's why there's two spirulina. The green one is chlorella, and there's a blended one called Vitality Bits. If you just can't think through, which one to take in the morning, which one at night, just take the red one morning and night, and that will make it easy. But it's great for the entire family, your pets, your children, your teenagers, your grandparents. We can turn this health situation around and do it effortlessly with something that's been here for 4 billion years, is scientifically proven, endorsed by international agencies. And the only reason you don't know about it is because it's not grown here and nobody told you about it until I did.
Okay, and that's a wrap on this week's episode. If you're not already following me on Instagram, make sure to screenshot this episode, share to your stories, and tag at Healthy by Heather Brown so I can connect with you in DMs. It truly brings me so much joy to see how these episodes impact you. In case you don't know, your downloads, ratings, and reviews are the actual lifeblood of this podcast, and it helps spread the word to your friends and family. So please hit the download button on this episode and leave a 5-star rating if you super loved it. And if we're really BFFs, you'll spread the happy and text this podcast link to someone who needs to hear it today to be encouraged. Have a great day, friend.